Hi guys, Anna Kojak here. I'm your mental toughness coach for gymnastics. Today I want to talk to you about a topic that I've been hearing a lot of buzz from you guys, and that is, help, I have a mean coach. What do I do? I have a mean coach. So this is, kind of a controversial topic because it's one of those questions that's really hard to answer. Everyone's situation is different, but I'm going to give you a few tips today, kind of help you through that. But one, I want to say, if you have a coach who is mean, as in who punishes you when you're trying your hardest, who berates you with his or her words, who tells you you'll never amount to anything, tells you you're worthless, tells you you're stupid, tells you, you're lazy, things like that. If you have a coach like that, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to get out. I hope parents are listening to this because that is not the coaching culture that we want in gymnastics. And if you have a coach who is like that, you need to find a new gym or a new coach. That is not acceptable. That is not the way that athletes should be coached, and especially not gymnasts. In a sport that is challenging and hard and a very mental sport, the last thing they need is words from their coaches that are making them doubt their self-confidence and their self-worth. So that is an unsafe situation. And I will tell you that verbal abuse is just as bad as anything else. So if you're hearing these words over and over, words are not just words. They always say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But words will hurt you because words translate into feelings that you have about yourself. And when you keep hearing someone tell you you're not good enough, or you'll never amount to this, or you'll never make it to optionals, or you'll never get that college scholarship, or you're just not good enough, or whatever else it is, if you keep hearing that, you're going to take that to heart and you're going to internalize that, and that's going to become a part of who you are. That is not a good situation. That is not the point of gymnastics. And if you have a coach like that, you need to get out. And I know those are tough situations because maybe you don't have another gym that's close by, or maybe this is your only coach in that one gym that you go to, but you need to make these tough decisions because you don't want athletes who leave the sport feeling worthless. That is not the point. There was this documentary about a rhythmic gymnast. She was a Russian rhythmic gymnast. She ended up winning the Rio Olympics. I can't for the life of me think of what the documentary was called. She was a rhythmic gymnast, so she won the gold medal in Rio. But this documentary documented her training up until the Rio Olympics. And really it was documenting her coach and the verbal abuse that her coach used towards her. And it was every second was, you don't want this, you're worthless, you'll never do this. She cursed every other word, basically. This gymnast ended up winning the gold, but not because of her coach. She ended up winning in spite of her coach. And a few months afterwards, she retired from sport, and I think she was only 18 or 19. She was not very old. She definitely could have kept going, and she, had a gift for rhythmic gymnastics. She was really good, but she had this coach who just verbally abused her and ended up, scarring her. And I'm sure she's in therapy now. I'm sure that she has self-doubt and self-worth issues, even though she won gold in Rio. And that's because she had this really, verbally abusive coach. Now, there's a difference between a tough coach and like a mean, abusive coach. So if you have a coach who's like, do 10 more push-ups, or if you guys are giggling, then you've got to do more of this. I think that's okay. I mean, sometimes I think it can get extreme, but as long as it's, in line with your behavior, if you're doing something and they asked you not to and you did it again, and, then it's like, okay, this is what you have to do because you weren't paying attention. I get that. If it's you're on high beam trying to do back handspring and you're blocking and you can't, and they're punishing you for that, that's a different story, and that's not good. That's a coach who doesn't understand a mental block and who is thinking that punishment is going to help you throw the skill, which it won't. It's a whole other topic, but that's a different situation. That's not a good situation to be. So here is my suggestion, other than obviously if you have a coach who is really awful, then you got to just switch and leave that gym. And I'm going to say that because no athlete should be subjected to that kind of an environment at all, ever. That's not that is not what gymnastics is. That is not what gymnastics is. And the problem is that there's a lot of coaches out there who were gymnasts themselves, and they were coached by coaches who were mean like this. And so they assume that is the best technique because that's how they were coached and that's how champions are made, and so they just continue that technique down the line. But it has actually been proven that those kind of coaching behaviors have a negative effect on athletes, and they are not behaviors that help athletes, become champions or develop a champion mindset, those are not the behaviors that help them. They're actually the ones that make it worse. And a lot of athletes who do make it, who have coaches like this, again, get there in spite of their coaches because they internally have something there that helps them along, and it's not their coaches that behavior from their coaches that have helped them. So here's what I want to say. If you are in a situation where you have a coach who, is kind of tough, is stern, maybe you just don't like the way they, act towards you, maybe you're afraid of them, maybe they're just cold, or maybe you just dread going. For whatever reason, you dread going to the gym, you don't like to see that coach, they make you feel, upset, and you get nervous to go and you just don't want to be there. You have to do this. You have to change your mindset. So in life, not just in gym, but in life, there are always going to be people you don't like. You're going to, have that teacher who you hate. You're going to have that professor in college who you can't stand. You're going to have that mean boss who just makes you do things that you hate and you just dread seeing him or her. You're going to have that, roommate who's awful that you just can't stand. Like, you're always going to come across people that you don't like. It's just, that's life, right? You're going to find those people. And if every time you come across someone who makes you uncomfortable or who's mean, you wither away and you get anxious and your anxiety builds and you don't want to be there, then you are never, ever, ever going to make it in life, because that's going to happen to you all the time, right? And we don't want to live that way. So this is what I suggest you do. You be proactive. So what does that mean? That means you guard your emotions and your feelings about a situation. You guard them by paving the way before you get to that situation. So in this case, let's say you have practice Tuesday night and you're already dreading it. It's Monday and you're like, I don't want to go. I'm like thinking about that coach and I just don't want to be there, right? So already what you're doing is you're priming yourself to have a negative experience with that coach during that practice. And yes, maybe you've had some negative experiences in the past, so you're just going based on what has happened. But remember, every new day is a new day. It's a new day. It's a chance for a new beginning, and it's a chance for a change. And the only reason things are staying the same is because you keep thinking the same things over and over. So it's time to change your thought pattern and come up with something different. So instead, what you are going to do is before practice, preferably the morning before, so you start the day out right, you're going to set yourself up for a better day. So you are going to write down some things you're grateful for. You're going to think about some things that make you really happy. And you're going to focus on those things throughout the day. Then, right before you get to gym, you're going to imagine yourself having an amazing practice. You're going to imagine yourself leaving practice and going, wow, that was awesome. I did really good. That was a great practice. I feel great. And you're going to, maybe in the car ride to practice, you're going to imagine that over and over, and you're going to try to find that feeling of having had a good practice. What does that feel like to you, right? You're going to find that feeling and you're going to think about it and you're going to say it over and over in your mind, like, this is going to be great. I can't wait. You're simply going to change the attitude, the way you're going into practice. I can't wait. I'm excited for this. I can't wait for this practice. Now, maybe at first you don't believe it necessarily, but the more you do it, the more you practice that, the more you will believe it, and the more your situation will change. Guys, this works. A lot of people out there who are like, I teach science-based stuff and this is, all backed by research. Well, I'm a little different. I teach, I'm into law of attraction. I believe there's energy out there, and I believe you get back what you put out there. And I believe that you can attract into your life the things that you're thinking about. So the reason you're going into these situations with this dread and this negativity is because you keep that negative emotion going alive inside of you. So you have to stop it. So like I said, the next time you go to practice, you're going to come up with these positive feelings that you want to have, and just watch what happens. Watch what happens. Like every single time you go to practice, change that feeling and watch what happens. I bet that, maybe your coach will have a really nice day where they're so nice to you. Or maybe you'll get to the gym and your coach is absent and you have a coach that you absolutely love instead, right? All these things will start to happen and you'll take note of them and be like, oh my gosh, look at that. Look what happened today. And you'll realize you're feeling so good, and those good feelings just continue. So you need to do that. You need to prime or pave the way for your experience that you're going to have. Because again, like I said, you can't get away from mean people. You're always going to have them in your life, whether it's mean friends, or maybe they're not your friend, but mean people, like mean peers, mean teachers, mean professors, mean bosses, whatever it is. You're always going to have those mean people that you're going to come across, rude people in stores and restaurants, and when you're driving, like you're always going to find those people. So the thing is that you can't dread that. You can't have anxiety towards that. You have to learn how to prep yourself and prime yourself so that you're meeting the world with your expectations and not reacting to the world's expectations. Again, you want to meet the world with your expectations, so what you expect, you receive, instead of reacting to the expectations that the world has given you, okay? So that might be a little out there, but I promise you, if you just change your mindset a little bit and just approach your practice with more of a feeling of excitement, but again, you got to prime yourself that day, thinking of all the good things, the things you love, the way you want to feel, the happiness, and try to go into practice with that. And I promise you things will change. So hopefully that's a tip that can help you. And I want to hear how it goes. If you happen to have a mean coach and you try this out, let me know if your situation gets any better. I will see you guys soon. Bye.